Alright, hi everyone. We'll get started with Roy Lanham live lesson here. We're going to be talking about some of his chordal work over the tune A Smooth One. If you haven't heard this one's from his record, The Most Exciting Guitar. I'm going to be referring to some of the PDFs I have of all the transcriptions, so if you're interested, want to go purchase that, it's on my website. There's a link here in the description, and you can follow right along and then study some more. It's going to include A Smooth One, Lost Weekend, and Roy's Blues. All the solos tabbed and notated with all the chords and single note lines. So what I thought we'd talk about today, we spent the last two sessions going over Roy's Blues, focusing mainly on the blues playing, really, and kind of the blues chordal work. I now started on talking about kind of hitting the changes more with these chords and how we can kind of just really shift by one fret or two frets into each one. So we're going to be really working on a 1-6-2-5 change. It's going to be a quick change. Each chord gets 2 beats, and we're going to be working out of the key of E. So here's a lick that he plays, and this is going to be starting in measure 5 on the pickups of the and a 4. So he plays something like this. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. So to break that down really slowly, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now what's going on here is we're playing 2 beats of an E chord, 2 beats of a C sharp chord, 2 beats of an F sharp chord, 2 beats of a B chord. Now he harmonizes the E chord in a normal 1-6-2-5 as an E7. So we're going to be playing like E, E7, C sharp 7, F sharp minor 7, and then B7. Now, what he's doing really is playing out of kind of the 7th position area, but he kicks it in with this slide up from the E7. So we take this E7 kind of block chord and move it up a half step. So it's just E, B, D, G sharp. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, and sliding right up into it. And then this is a cool thing he would do a lot, is combine single notes with his chordal approach. And what he's doing is just playing B flat to B, which leads us right into C major or C sharp major triad. So it's 3, 4. Right, so here's our C sharp major, right here up at the 9th fret. And that's addressing the 6. And then he plays a quick 2 minor. Here's our F sharp. We have C sharp A and F sharp in it. It's just a triad. And he's going B A, which is going to set up into a B13. So what's cool about this is he's really in single notes going, but he's just really, so really nice voice leading all the way down. So real quick, we've got 3, 4. And what here is we're just doing a B13 and then bouncing off the bass note and landing back on this E chord, this E triad right here. So one more time this lick, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's talk about a bunch of different ways we can use stuff of that sorts. So for now, I'm going to completely throw away this chord that's way down here on the guitar neck and focus more on playing stuff within this kind of 7 to 11 fret radius. If I was coming out of this song, and the verse is mainly based off of a 4 to a sharp 4, so A sharp to I would play an E out of this shape right here. So I could play this. This is the stacked fourths we talked about a few days ago. And with your fifth, the B of E, right, at the melody note. I could play an E7, could play an E7 flat 9, could play any of these little alterations within this shape. But additionally, I could move up and play out of this shape. So here I've got flat 7 in the bass, a 9, a 3, and a 1. We talked about this in the first week of doing these. This is a cool one because you can move the third all the way up in half steps, like so. So there's already some movement with that in that chord. At the same time, we can move this F sharp down to a flat 9, or if you wanted to, raise it up to a sharp 9. So we've already got movement within that chord. So if I was playing A, might do something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that would lead us to our 6th chord. So our 6th chord is mainly in this area. You've got the C sharp. Now we can make all sorts of alterations to it. This is just like a major chord. If we put a 7th on it, it's just a C sharp 7. You could add the 9. You could add the flat 9 or the sharp 9, 13, whatever you want. All sorts of different colors and notes we can add in there. But that's kind of the main area that C sharp's in. The secondary area I kind of think of this is what we just did for the E, but with the B in the bass. So we've got B, the flat 7 of C sharp, D sharp, it's the 9, we've got E sharp, that's the 3rd, and C sharp is the 1. So we've got some options with this C sharp chord here. So all of that is in that C sharp territory. So how I practice this, how I practiced it, is just take your E and your C sharp and bounce between the two. So we've got an E right here. What if I want to get to the C sharp right here? Well, easiest way is chromatically doing it. So I might do E7, E7 flat 13, C sharp. So that's one line. We could go A sharp, into the 6. So 4, sharp 4, 1, 6. That's one way of doing it. We could do a diminished E, diminished passing tone. Just harmonize whatever passing note you're on, and then land in C sharp. So, and you're there. Now let's take this chord and make it this chord as the bass. So this version of the C sharp. So I might go 1, 2, 3, 4. And we land there. So that's E13, E7, C sharp. Let's try adding an extension to it and then resolving down here. So we might go. Alright, so that's one way, or another way to do it. If we wanted to talk about adding this E7 chord into the mix. So instead of going like that, we might go right? And that's cool because if we take this E9, we can drop it to flat 9, and that's already the 3rd of C sharp. And I might add, I'm not thinking of all of these little, oh, this goes to that, this goes to that. This has all been like analyzed and thought about after the fact. Really, I'm using my ear to go, oh, if I move this a half step, that's already kind of getting me into that territory. So, again, might do something like that. If I wanted to add some more notes, all right? So what I was doing there was leading the G sharp up to an A, and then doing a C sharp with the 13 because just chromatically going up. So, or add the 9. So that's another way of thinking about those things. So that's a lot of stuff with the 1 and 6. Now let's add the 2. In this song, and in a lot of songs with these changes, the 2 is a minor chord. So F sharp minor is right here. What we can do is play off of just the triad of it. We can move it around. In half steps, we can play with the flat 7. So you could, like, stuff like that. We could down to the B7. So if I was messing around and trying to get E, C sharp to F sharp, I might do something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Into my B. Or maybe another 1, 2, 3, 4. Into my B. Or one more. So that's kind of how I would use that. To me, there's not too much to do other than kind of just use it for what it is up a half step or down a half step. Because really, it wants us to fold right into this B chord. And again, we're going back to this shape, and there's so many possibilities with all of our extensions on there. So for falling into our B chord, let's try something like this. Right? From the F sharp again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Might do something like that. It's really up to you to figure out how you want to lead these notes. If we were playing something along the lines where we wanted to get more out, right? Sharp 9, flat 9, major. So you could go, excuse me. Right? So that's some ways of kind of using that sound against that. Now another cool thing we could do with the 2 chord is instead of playing a straight 2 minor chord, play an A. The 2 minor and the A, or the 4 in this key, A major, work together. So instead of playing this voicing, just play your A major 7 and you get all the notes in F sharp with some color as well. So you might go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's nice. Excuse me. Try it again. Alright, so using that A major chord there, it's all those really cool extensions with that G sharp. Now, by the same token, we can play what we talked about a few weeks ago, that cool suspended chord that Roy would use a lot. So if we're using like a B, you could think of it down to B7. So right. So you got to kind of figure out a few different uses of the chords. So just remember, catalog in your head a helpful tip. If you have a 6 minor, play the major 4. and you get all the nice extensions. You could even play that or that. So you might do something like 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's just using major 7, right, over the F sharp. It's that sound. And then I'm dropping to that shape for the B, right, that we talked about with the E and C sharp. And then resolve to this E right here. So that's a really cool thing you could do too. So I think that's a lot of the stuff and kind of what he would kind of think out of in terms of using the same chord shapes and similar kind of things within the key to inform his chords and to give more color to his chords without kind of doing leaps and bounds of jazz math in your head. But I would mess around with that and seriously just take like 2 chords at a time and mess around. So you might try playing like just for that F sharp, getting that sound in your head, and then for the B7, getting that sound in your head, and then combining it and extend the chord changes. You might go 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. F sharp to the A sharp, E, passing 6, 2, 5, augmented 1, 6, 2. Or sorry, 4 sharp 4, 1, 6, here comes the 2, here comes the 5, 1, 6, 2, so extend this stuff around, mess around with the timing of it. You don't have to play exactly to the changes of the song, and that's how you experiment. But the big thing with that is do what I was just doing, call out the chords as you're playing it, so you kind of have some accountability. You're not just playing and switching when you want to switch, and that will give you kind of a good framework to work from. So kind of the big takeaways are when you're addressing and you want to address kind of the chord changes quickly, find how they interlay with all within one one area or like a radius of areas. So if you're playing out of the E in this area, find your 1, 6, your 2, 5, and then find all your other chords. If you're playing the E out of this area, find your 1, 6, 2, 5, then all the other chords. And see how you can move 1 or 2 notes and get each one, and then find all the alterations for it. And you'll find multiple purposes to use. And again, that main one I use a lot is over the 2 minor chord, the F sharp. I use the 4 major chord, the A, and then I usually put the major 7th in there. So again, to get that, then down to the 2, then down to the 1. So that's that kind of sound. So I hope you enjoyed that and learned something useful. All of those solos and transcriptions are on my site. Just easy download through a PayPal and an email, and you'll get them directly into your inbox. Hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you Friday for some more of this stuff.